As I was moving in these parts of Ruzira, it is exactly 9 a.m. But recently in southwestern Uganda, one of the farmers raised a complaint that Uganda National Meteorological Authority is not doing enough. I arrived here at Unima and I found one of the staff by names of Glorious. I want to ask you one question that I can address the complaints of this farmer. Why is Unima not doing enough?
Well, thank you, Mr. Tukundane Ivan. Since you have met me and you are at the right place, and manager of forecasting is around, I might not be in the right shoes of answering those questions in his presence. So I can take you to his office and you will be the right person. You can interview for more information.
Please, lead me in the office.
Thank you.
Hello and welcome to the Ivan Show. On this episode, I host the manager of forecasting services and a senior meteorologist here at Uganda National Meteorological Authority. Welcome to the show, Mr. George William Omony.
Thank you, Ivan. Thank you, Ivan, for your show that you have hosted me today. I really appreciate you always, so that when I come like this, at least I feel that I will be reaching the last mile, particularly the end users of the weather and climate information.
Reading the article of Uganda National Meteorological Authority Act 2012, you are mandated to remain with all the information, and whoever broadcasts any weather information is subject to consequences. Why are you not doing enough?
Well, thank you so much for that particular question. Uganda National Meteorological Authority, among others, is charged with the responsibility of collecting all the weather information, installing the weather monitoring equipment, generating the forecast product on a different type scale for the farmers, then issuing this particular information to the farmers and giving early warning information on respect to the weather. Of course, the country is big, and we can say we are not reaching everybody, but we are reaching at least a good percentage, which I can say it is more than 70% of the people we are reaching. Now, there are challenges whereby we might not be in a position to reach everybody. One of the challenges can come due to little funding, which is given by the government. And also, in addition to that, we have limited staff. That's number 2. Number 3, currently, Uganda National Meteorological Authority is in the process of being taken back to the ministry. Our mother ministry is Ministry of Water and Environment. Now, that one meaning, as we talk right now, there is no more recruitment until the rationalization process is complete. So that one is also giving us a lot of problem on how we can give our services. But on a good note, we are not working as an independent institution. We work with every institution across the country, even the world at large, because weather doesn't know any political boundaries, weather doesn't know any races. In that, we are working with many NGOs who are working with the community. We are working with ministries, departments, and agencies of the government. We are working with also international bodies like the ICPA, IGAD Climate Prediction and Application Center. We are also working with the World Meteorological Organization. We are also working with the district local government. We are working with the civil society organization. We are working with the media houses. So this kind of working relationship, it is the way by which we can reach the end user. So sometimes if you don't see us very close to the end user, doesn't mean that we are not getting a way of reaching them. We are using the different channel at least to reach them. But because of our limitation in staff, that is the reason why sometimes we find this particular gap is in place.
Among the challenges you have cited, you have said you have little staffing. should we think that the course meteorology is not popular or is not known by very many Ugandans, or meteorologists are there but they are not reported?
Yeah, as I talk right now, before, this particular course of meteorology was not in Uganda at a degree level. It was at a diploma level, whereby you start from a certificate, then you come to a diploma. If you want to do a degree course, you have to go out of Uganda. But some 5-6 years ago, I think close to 10 years ago, not 10 years, 8 years ago, Makerere University has started a course, a bachelor degree in meteorology. There are so many graduates right now in the field. And these graduates are really very resourceful to Yonma. If there is that open, the door is open for recruitment right now to Yonma, Yonma would have absorbed all of these particular graduates. And by now, at least we would be having that big, dense network of the what? Of the working staff. Because of that the public service has issued no recruitment simply because of the processes of rationalization. But I believe once this process is complete, they will open the door for recruitment, and definitely Yonma, which is going to be under the ministry, will be in a position to fill many of the gaps. So we will be in a position to reach where we were not reaching.
How accurate are your downscaling methods used here at UNIMA?
Very good. That is a very good question. Because people always confuse, they look at the forecast, say these people are giving wrong forecasts. I want to tell the public to understand this. Our forecast has a different time scale. We have 30 minutes forecast, we have 1 hour forecast, we have 6 hourly forecast, we have 24 hours forecast, we have weekly forecast, 10 days forecast, 1 month forecast, and seasonal forecast. Now, what is weather? How does it happen? Weather is a kind of a system which varies time to time. It implies the shorter you project, you predict, the more accurate you will hit it on the spot. The longer you project, it will lose some accuracy. That implies if you give a projection like for 30 minutes, 1 hour, 24 hours, or 6 hours, we hit it on the spot. I give you an example. These short interval hours of 1 hour, 30 minutes, 6 hours is only applicable at the airport for the aircraft. That particular forecast must be 100% accurate because weather disasters are really so prone to aircraft. The moment an aircraft accident occurs, the first investigation is always on the weather because weather is the major cause. So what we are doing at the airport, we are hitting 100 on our forecast. Before a pilot lands on the runway, we must give the weather information, the weather forecast within 1 hour, within 30 minutes. Look at the example, those parameters like the pressure. Because when a plane is coming to land, we have to give the pressure on the runway. And what will the pressure be in 30 minutes time? In that, then the pilot will be in a position to adjust the pressure by which the plane is coming so that it matches the pressure on the ground and the plane will come and land successfully. We also give the forecast for the wind. You know, sometime along the runway, the wind will be moving. We look at the speed. Then in 30 minutes, how will it be? So that the pilot will make sure he or she adjusts the plane movement to match with the movement of the wind or where the wind is coming. If that information is not provided, a pilot is not supposed to land on the what? On the runway. And even the pilot is not supposed to take off. So that is where we give 100% perfect weather forecast at the airport. Now,
yes.
When we come to the farmers always need a long term, like monthly, weekly, seasonal, 3 months. Definitely, as I said, that is a long period of projection. Sometimes that one we are not in a position to hit 100%. It can come in some season, but some season we can miss. For us, we accept where we miss, we say this time we have missed. Where we have hit, we say this time we have hit. So I can say on average, our forecast is at 80% accuracy, meaning we have like 20% missing. So it is important now to look at the bigger percentage of the accuracy so that you can pick the information how you can utilize it.
Before we delve deeper in the achievements you have made as a body, I want us to first have this discussion of who is responsible for your challenges.
Well, our challenges come from everywhere. All stakeholders. As I said, we work with all stakeholders because weather and climate doesn't spare anybody. Why am I saying everybody? I'm saying everybody because when it comes to the information that we have packaged, the moment we have packaged this particular information, we want to reach the last mile. So in reaching the last mile, we are limited in terms of staffing. We cannot run everywhere all over the country. We have to use our channels. And the channels are the different ministries, departments, agencies, NGOs, CSO, and others. We use this particular information, we channel it to them. So the challenge comes, one, sometimes these people, we have given them the information. They will not be in a position to deliver it in time. The information can come late. Number two, sometimes we have given them this information. They cannot interpret this information so that somebody can really make an informed decision out of it. Yet, we have built their capacity how to interpret this particular information, also to generate advisories on the forecast product. So, that is why I'm saying very many stakeholders, challenges, our challenges, sometimes it is incurred from them.
You are using taxpayers' money, and therefore you need to account for them. Can you tell us about the achievements you have made as a body of Ghana National Meteorological Authority?
Okay, thank you so much. There are so many. Among them, I can say one of them is, right now as we talk, I can say more than 80% of the community, if I count myself from 8 years back, when we were still under departmental in the Ministry of Water and Environment, up to now, as Uganda National Meteorological Authority, we have hit more than 80% of the target audience who are receiving our information. That is number one. Two, we have built a network of information flow, which is cutting across all sectors of the economy. Three, we are now visible everywhere. We are visible. Go to the villages, go to the grassroots. At least they can tell you, these people, we always get information from them, from some of the local FM stations, which is across the country. Or sometimes they come, they can have a meeting with us. So our visibility is now well felt on the ground. Four, UNMA has built capacity, particularly on the professional. So the professional, that is the technicality, we have upgraded our level of education. So as I talk right now, at least we are competent to do the weather and climate information.
Now, I want you to highlight on how you disseminate your information to that very person who is down there in the village, because you are telling us that UNIMA is now visible. How are you, which methods are you using to disseminate your information and make yourself available for those farmers? Okay,
thank you. There, number one, this our information, weather information is perishable good. Once it is generated, it doesn't need to take long. It must be immediately channeled to the end users. So what do we do? Number one, once it is generated, we send this particular information to the district local government. Because in the district local government, we have our structure. So this structure, there are a personnel who is charged, the department in the district charged with the responsibility of receiving this information and making sure it must go to the sub-county. Then at the sub-county also, there is a personnel who is charged with the responsibility of making sure it goes to the parish. Then from the parish, it goes to the community. Now, that is one. In addition to that, we also deal directly with some other farmers who can have access, because the fastest mean is using internet, sending it through mail. So after sending, if we find a farmer who can access internet, we have picked his email addresses. So far, we have more than 3,000 email addresses that we always send across all the country. That is one. Number two, at the beginning, once we have issued the seasonal climate forecast, we always follow. We hold a regional downscaling meeting. What does it mean by the downscaling meeting? The downscaling meeting meaning we are trying to narrow our forecast to a particular region. And this forecast is more accurate than the forecast we give at the national level. So in that, we involve the people at that particular nation. We give them the forecast product. Then they are the one who are supposed to give what kind of advisories. What advice can be given to crop sectors, animal sectors, fisheries, beekeeping, disaster management, water resources, health. What will that particular forecast affect those particular sectors? So they are the one who are giving. And those particular advisories are more specific, area specific. Number three, we always have radio talk show in the different local FM across the sub-region. So when we have that most particular downscaling meeting, there in the evening we go for a radio talk show, we issue this. You know, we have done a need assessment for receiving the weather and climate information, and we realize more than 90% of the community, they prefer the local FM so that the information can be channeled through that. So we always hold that talk show. In addition to that, we have the media houses, the local FM presenters. We have given them there in our contact. So once we send this information to them, they are always airing it out during the time the forecast is issued.
When we look at the work we are doing, it is as delicate as someone piloting an aeroplane. In an emergency that you have made errors, you confuse the whole country. How do you manage to make sure that you prevent such mistakes to happen?
True. Our information can kill once an error has been generated. So, how can we minimize that? We minimize that by one, we work as a group. It is not one person who sits on a desk and relay or generate information and relay it out. We have to work. We can have a team of 10, team of 5. Once, before we send this information, we must first look at it, then we try to digest. 2, in addition to the 10 of us or 5 of us, we also collaborate with our counterpart, the neighboring countries, the Kenya, Tanzania, because we look at how the weather system is moving. Because what is going to affect Uganda in particular, it is not coming from Uganda, or it is not going to be generated from Uganda. It might be coming from Kenya, coming from Tanzania. So always we have that video conference. Then we discuss the weather. So we analyze, we come with what is called the consensus forecast. So this consensus forecast is the best forecast than the forecast which is coming from one person. So that is where now the accuracy will come in place, because individualistic kind of forecast product will not give you. So we always go into a multi-sectoral approach.
What should farmers expect?
Right now, people are crying. They look at the dry condition which is really prevailing in most part of the country. As I talk, we are in August, almost tending to September. June, July, and August is a rainfall season for northern Uganda and eastern. But it is a dry season for central, western Uganda. Why? Because during that time, the rain belt shifts to the northern part of the country, leaving the central and western in a dry condition. But in August, like at this particular period of the time, at least central will be feeling some rain. But now, if we try to look at it, we don't see anything. Why? I will give you the explanation. Go back to the northern and eastern. They were supposed to be in rain right now. But if you go right now, you don't see anything. It is even dry. Why? This year, there is what is called the El Nino. It is evolving. When we talk of El Nino, people know it is associated with so much rainfall over the country. This is an El Nino year. 2023 is an El Nino year. El Nino is associated with the warming of the water bodies over the Pacific Ocean. When the temperature of that water body warms more than the normal temperature, it will impact what is called El Nino. Then El Nino has different impact over the globe. Over Uganda and East Africa in general is associated with too much rainfall. But when you go to the southern part of Africa, instead it is associated with drought. It suppresses the rainfall. So this year we have El Nino signal. El Nino, the moment it is evolving, it always suppresses the June, July, and August rainfall. And that explains why most part of the country have been so dry during the June, July, and August. Even the northern and eastern, which were supposed to be having rain, by June, July, August, have been going dry, simply because of this effect. But next month, September, the rain will resume back. Even by the end of this month, the northern and eastern will start getting rain. Then, toward the first week of September, this central will now start receiving something. Of course, as we talk right now, there will be on and off rainfall in most part of the country. This rainfall, of course, some other areas, it is good for them now to start preparing their garden. We are expecting some good rain to come, which is starting very soon, next month, and this rain we expect it to continue up to November. So, next week, we will give detailed forecast of what September, October, November going to be. Thank you.
As we wind up our discussion, I want you to give us what you have learned as an individual working as a meteorologist here at the Uganda National Meteorological Authority.
Thank you. Well, what I've learned so far, there are many. One of them, at least I've grabbed the concept of the weather and climate information. Two, at least I've learned how to interact with many people, many stakeholders across all the profession, because most of the time we engage ourselves not only with our fellow meteorologists, but we go across all other sectors. So that is the kind of thing that has built my relationship with all of them, the media houses, the work. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. George William Omonyi, for allowing to speak to us.
You're most welcome.
We have been speaking with Mr. George William Omonyi, a senior meteorologist here at Uganda National Meteorological Authority, and he has given us a very good discussion for you farmers out there. I think this is the right discussion you need to listen to before you prepare your lands. I am Ivan Tukundane, and this is the Ivan Show.